the Upful Vibes Learning Corner. And today we are going to speak about a topic, apprenticeship in the music industry. All right. I have a student right here, you know. So I'm going to ask her, what do you think about apprenticeship in the music industry? What comes to mind?
Let's see. Well, I don't have a lot of experience in the music industry per se, but I think it has to do with linking up with a good, strong mentor who's doing the types of things you want to do, whether that's producing, whether that's managing, whether that is starting your own label and learning from them in a hands-on type of way.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. I do believe that it's one of the industries that can benefit a lot from apprenticeship because it's a very hands-on industry and it constantly changes. Like you can be here like reading a book all about the music industry, the 2020 edition, and that is so outdated right now. You could even have the 2024 or 2025 edition of, you know, all you need to know about the music industry, and that in itself is outdated. I believe the music industry is very, it's a tech industry now, really. Like how you have majors and minors, in the university. You major in this and you minor in that. So the major now is everything is a tech industry, and the minor is whatever niche you do. Okay, music. You're an artist. So apprenticeship is very important. Because you learn in school, but I feel like teachers need apprenticeship too.
Yeah, I mean they do. So when you have
But
you're doing
but
your
but
PhD, you're a teaching assistant,
but
which
do
is
they
that
adjust
apprenticeship.
the learning curriculum and the syllabus and all of that stuff? Do they adjust that? No. Do they? No. I don't feel like. I bet they're teaching stuff from like 2005.
Well, not everybody. Some people are very like forward thinking in their teaching.
Okay.
Some people use the same thing over and over again, but they don't. But I want to ask you, how do you go about choosing the right mentors and business partners when you're thinking about apprenticeship in the industry?
Well, all right. So apprenticeship. First of all, before we get into that question, I just want to tell you my views about apprenticeship. I believe apprenticeship is very important in the music industry because it gives you a hands-on approach of practical examples based on what you were learning. When I was going to college doing music, a lot of what helped me a lot when I was doing music was going home and I'm learning about a scale or a mode and I go in a FL studio and I build a beat with that scale or mode. And that helped me so much. Oh, bless up, Savage Marshmallow. Big up yourself, yo. You see me? Thanks for coming on my life. Yeah, so I believe apprenticeship is good. One thing that I remember growing up, I really wished I had like, a mentor that I could go to and, just watch what they're doing. What that? We know it will really help you and bless you getting rid of that ugly face. Ah, come on, my nigga. This is a cute face right here, man. What are you talking about? This is a cute face right here. Stop hating. Yeah, we're talking about apprenticeship in the music industry. So,
Yeah, thinking of apprenticeship as a system of training um, for a system for training a person in a skilled trade or profession through on-the-job experiences, often combined with classroom instruction.
yeah, I think it's very important. I feel like schools nowadays should go more around apprenticeship and role playing. Like, for example, okay, you have the classes, say, okay, I want to be an apprentice as a record label assistant, right? So you can be an apprentice to the assistant, because you want to learn what the assistant does. The assistant has a role because, you have like a label manager, and a label manager is somebody who's, directing stuff, doing a lot of different aspects or different jobs, and sometimes I need assistants that go in and do the menial stuff. Like, for example, put together a spreadsheet with all the links for this artist. I mean, you'd expect a label manager to be doing that, an assistant will be doing that. And then an apprentice will be there with the assistant, helping the assistant to do that. So for example, what's your name?
Jamie Rock.
Okay, big up yourself, Jamie Rock. So you, Jamie Rock, so you have a release coming out. What's the release called?
Write Your Name.
Oh, big up, Write Your Name coming out November
7th.
November 7th. Check it out. See? So like, Jamie Rock, you have a single released on November 7th, right? So, say I had a structure where I'm a label manager, I had an assistant, and then you and say you have a friend who is an apprentice. The apprentice, will be coming in, watching the whole process, watching the meeting, seeing what's happening. Sometimes we joke around in the studio to say, "Hey, bring my coffee." Sometimes bringing the coffee is just like it's a discipline thing. Because most of the times being an apprentice is being in the environment, learning the workflow, seeing it over and over again, seeing it over and over again, making a track from scratch, seeing it over and over again, going through a release cycle, and seeing the preparation till it become a part of you. So I think apprenticeship is very important. In the music industry, apprenticeship for record label assistants, managers, music industry apprenticeship. Probably if you're an apprentice in a studio setting, say you're a studio assistant, you'll be getting a coffee as well. You'll be there just opening out the studio, cleaning out the studio. That's a very important part of it because we're a service-based industry as well and a creative industry. So you have to value the service part of it as well. And you have to learn all aspects. Even if you're going more creative, you have to know how to serve people. It's part of the discipline. Big up Girly Pop, big up I Am Danskin, big up Lisa Miller, big up on us, big up everybody, yo. Share the life, yo. You see me? Yeah, we're talking about apprenticeship in the music industry right here, And we're here with Jamie Rock, the student, we're doing a practice lecture. Yeah, so apprenticeship is very important. And I believe that schools in the future need to go more along apprenticeship. Have it a structured approach, whereas you have case study, you have historical stuff, because you want to learn how the people used to release songs in the 80s. I think that needs to be taught as well. How did people release songs in the 2000s? How did they release songs in the 2010s? How did they release songs 5 years ago? I remember 10 years ago, everybody had to have a music video. That's different now. So apprenticeship is very important in the music industry. So we spoke about apprenticeship for studio assistants, record labels, what else? Tour manager apprenticeship. Even as a drummer, I was on tour with Sade a couple of years ago, and I had a roadie that was assigned to me. And for every show that we did, the first show that I did, I taped where my cymbals and my drum set is supposed to be, on the carpet. So he knows that I taped where to stop with adjusting the cymbal stands and the snare stands and all the hardware and the drum set. So the first two shows we set up a workflow and he's watching that. And then for the rest of the tour, all I did was I'm in the dressing room just drinking Baileys and white rum and smoking weed. And I was like, okay, sound check time, just walk out, with my drumsticks, go up on stage and just start. Because he knows everything already, So I've been an apprentice before, where I've been in a studio with some very prominent mix engineers. And what they did is, they said, okay, Dizzle, I want you to clean up the tracks. Took out all the breaths out of the tracks. take out all the space, take out all the clicks and so on. So I did that for like a couple of months, and that was a good experience for me. So apprenticeship is very good in the music industry. All right. Do we have any questions for anybody so far?
What do you think is one of the challenges in apprenticeship that you had to overcome?
Oh, as a apprenticee or a apprenticer? Is that what they call it? I'm making it work.
We'll go with that mid-word.
Apprenticee is probably the person taking the imprint.
Yeah.
So as somebody giving somebody an apprenticeship position, is that sometimes people doing apprenticeship, they're very eager. And you find different personalities. Sometimes you find people who are afraid or very timid to make mistakes. You have some people who are too eager. You have some people who think that, okay, this is a waste of time. Why am I doing this? I could be playing Roblox right now. Or Fortnite, And you have some people who like they lack the discipline, and as a leader in the studio, I have to lay down the law. I sit out in the studio and say, hey, no fubbing in the studio. You know what fubbing is? Fubbing. Let's see what the word fubbing means. Phubbing. The practice of ignoring one companion or companions in order to pay attention to one's phone or other mobile device. So I guess it's professional fubbing. Where you're in the studio and your damn cell phone, is in playing Instagram reels while I'm there mixing a song. You know what you could be doing right there? You could be listening to my whole catalog, categorizing them for me. I said, okay, this is deep house, this is Afrobeat. I'm meta tagging and stuff. But a lot of people doing an apprenticeship sometimes would think that, this is a waste of time. I didn't do nothing. I spent like 5 weeks and all I did was meta tagging. But guess what? It's part of the process. It's very important.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So I'm open to apprentice. I'm open to teaching people, but people who want to be taught. Another issue that I have with apprenticeship sometimes is that some apprentice, I know we're in an economic situation right now, people want money, but some apprenticeship is paid and some is not paid. If you ask me, if I could go back 20 years ago and do apprenticeship with a well-known producer, I would grab that. I would grab the opportunity to be in the room with Michael Jackson, Quincy Jones, just be there. I've been in the room with Drake, that was life-changing. But Michael Jackson, imagine you're there sitting across from Michael Jackson, adding him a coffee and some shrooms, and he's there and he's there just practicing some runs, and you're just there soaking in that creative process, you know what I mean? What do you think? So I think sometimes, you have to, thinking about the money is important because we all gotta live, but sometimes, you need to look at the value of what you're getting, the experience of what you're getting, what that does to your life. Sometimes just being around the right person in life can just change your life. It brings this level of maturity. Thank goodness I've been around some really good experiences. Being on tour with Sade, being in the studio with Amy Winehouse, Drake, Bebo Gilberto, Sean Kingston, Shawn Mendes, One Direction, Snoop Lion, all of these people. It's great. Different experiences with different people, but it's great. You know, it has changed me. Being in the studio with Major Lazer, Dave Taylor, you know, I saw. This is one thing. I'll tell you guys a recap. You know, I was working, but I was basically kind of like in my brain. I was just like a sponge, learning so much things. So Dave was in the studio working on a track, and there's a singer. She never really sung good, but she was the wife of the owner of the hotel and the studio. But she can't really sing, but you know, she's there, you know, nepotism and all of that. So, like, the song sounded like crap, you know, and he took the acapella, put it in Logic at the time, and he just built a completely new thing around it. Yeah. Respect, it was great. Yeah, thank you. In Logic Studio, you just started rebuilding like a whole vibe, a whole dance music vibe around the track. And what she sang sounded like crap, sounded like a hit. You know, he chopped up her vocal, he cut it out. You know, he created his own hook, everything with space and everything that sounded like it sounded so great, and that changed my whole perspective of producing and you know putting things together and changed my perspective about how rigid you can be in the music industry in terms of the creative approach. So apprenticeship to me is very important with development. It should be embraced. It should be a necessity. It should be monetized. You know, I know that. Yeah, all right. Say you want to monetize it, fine. Let's get some foundations that can sponsor people doing the apprenticeship. You know, because we know their expenses. But you know, for the person taking the apprenticeship and the person giving it, yeah, it should be they should be able to do it freely without thinking about money. Because you know, I think money is the killer of our creativity. That's how creatives don't like to do business. You know, because you know creatives and you know like this is an apprentice moment. Let me just give you guys an apprentice moment. Yeah, I'm in the music industry. Yeah, and sometimes oh jeez, I can't bother dealing with like the business sometimes because it takes you far away from the creative. You know, you have to start. I can do it, but you have to start thinking about okay, dollars and cents, finances, budgets, all of that stuff. And I'm like, oh jeez. But all you want to do is just create something. All you want to do is go around a keyboard and play something, or like take a camera and snap something, or say, hey, wear this or wear that. So, apprenticeship in the music industry is very important. You know. So, you have any questions about apprenticeship?
What do you think is the smartest move for a person who's at a apprenticeship and they don't like their mentor?
Get a new one. Because honestly, there are people that you're gonna gel with, or there are people that you're not gonna gel with. You know, there are people that you're gonna be like, yeah, this person is dope vibe, or they're your vibe, and there are people who are like different. There are people you get culturally, and there are people that you don't get culturally. You know what I mean? So I believe like it shouldn't either be an issue, it shouldn't even go into any feelings or anything. It's just natural. It's just not. You and some people gel, and you and some people don't gel. And that's just life in general, and that's the first place you learn it. If you get that in an apprenticeship, to know, yo, who is your crowd, who is your vibe, who is your tribe, who is the people that you should be around. Yeah, so other apprenticeship options. We spoke about being in studio, music business, live on stage. I had an apprentice live on stage. It could be even, you know, what else? What are the roles? So to before we talk about apprenticeship in the music industry, what are the types of apprenticeship that could be targeted? Um, music industry, music business, live. What else in the music industry? And live could mean like okay, stage manager, road manager. It could be a roadie. You know, that's the boring stuff. It could be like production coordinator. You know, video. It could be video assistant. You know, acting director of photography. It could be a grip. It could be somebody just holding an umbrella. You know, it could be somebody just bringing refreshment for the director. You get what I'm saying? What other roles are there?
Yeah, we talked about managers a little bit, maybe creative directors.
Yeah, creative directors could do well with an apprentice, you know? Anybody, even an artist. You know, imagine being an artist apprentice. Imagine if you had somebody right here, right beside it, right here, you know, eating red chicks with us, you know, you know, and just sitting there and just taking notes, you know. I'm probably just doing behind the scenes. Even the behind the scenes person is an apprentice, because a behind the scenes person can become a video director. That behind the scenes person can eventually become, you know, a behind the scenes person. You know, because yeah, it's important. Like if you're doing stuff in the music industry, you know, right now, you know, it's all about branding and promotion, and you want to find multiple marketing angles to push your project or your brand. And behind the scenes content is very good for that, because people like to see what people are doing behind the scenes. What's your name again?
Jamira.
Oh, Jamira, cool. What would be interesting for a behind the scenes person to see with you?
Well, the making of a music video or visualizer, the kind of inside of the photo shoot, the process of making the song in the studio.
So you wish you had an apprentice right now, right?
Nice.
Yeah, like man, you did your photo shoot the other day, right? And you alone was there. You know, if you had a apprentice over there, like holding up a thing so it can change, you know, when you're up in the hills, you know, doing your wardrobe change. Yeah, I've seen that. Apprentice could be there, okay, driving the car while, you know, you're there, and, you know, obviously. Sometimes apprentice, sometimes do other stuff like fill the gaps, if they can. And sometimes apprentice find hidden talents. Because you could be an apprentice and you're there and you ended up, you know, filling in to do like makeup for you, you know? And then they realize, okay, I'm really good at makeup. You know? Maybe I could be like an Ashley. You know, big up Ashley still, you know? Yeah.
Well, I thank you for this crash course in apprenticeship. And I've learned a lot
Crash?
from you. Crash course? Yeah, it was like...
There's no crash.
Okay. How else did you say it? A mini lecture? Does that work for you?
I'll think about it. I'll ask my apprentice. Well, my apprentice is ChatGPT. Hey, Chat. Just kidding. I mean, AI and apprenticeship. AI does step on apprenticeship a little bit, because you know what? Two ways. The person needing an apprentice would probably just, instead of having somebody around, ask AI to assist them and get the job done. Or the person seeking the apprentice position would be just geeking out on AI and finding out this and that and that and that, you know? So AI does impact the music industry. It does impact apprenticeship. Do you have any other questions about apprenticeship in the music industry? Okay. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk today. You know, really appreciate you. Thanks for coming by the Learning Corner. I gave it a name earlier. I don't remember. I smoked too much weed. Anyway, bless up yourself. Full. I'm out. What's on my nose? I'm out. How do you end this?